From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and Akashvani, this is Stumped.
Hello and welcome to Stumped, your intercontinental hit of news, features and debate from the quirky world of cricket. I'm Alison Mitchell in London, but European cricket was given a boost this week with the qualification of Italy for the Men's T20 World Cup early next year. They qualified along with Netherlands, but yes, the Italians joining the elite. Congratulations to them. It's quite a story. But I've also got an Australian family visiting at the moment, so a bit of tourist time for me, and a day trip to Cambridge will be on the cards. Just don't expect me to do all the punting on the River Cam.
Hi, it's Jim Maxwell for the ABC from Sydney. I was in Cambridge recently, and there are a couple of good pubs there. You should go and seek them out at a place called Coton. Coton, Ali. So look up that one. Anyway, I'm hibernating down under. It's time to be trying to stay awake watching cricket from Lords and from the Caribbean.
And I'm Charu Sharma. I've just returned to Pondi, from Pondicherry, that is, from a quick trip to Bangalore to do the Maharaja Trophy, as the Karnataka T20 League is called, their player auction. I'll be back in Pondicherry. Just the season of domestic leagues, by the way, of course. Everybody in India is still smarting about that Lord's defeat, and what's going on in the West Indies, we all wonder.
Now, the life of an international cricketer is filled with lots of time on the road, playing in all four corners of the world. But what does life look like for their partners? Well, in 2013, Puja Pabari, who had never followed cricket and didn't understand the game, married India batter Cheteshwar Pujara and witnessed firsthand what happens in an international cricketer's daily life. Puja kept meticulous diary notes as they travelled around the world together, and they've now been turned into a book called The Diary of a Cricketer's Wife, a Very Unusual Memoir. And I'm pleased to say that both Puja and Cheteshwar join us now on Stumped. Great to have you both on. And Puja, congratulations on writing what is a fascinating insight into your lives. Why did you decide to lift the lid on giving people, a glimpse of what life is like for the family of an elite athlete?
So when I started journaling, I found it really, really interesting and inspiring, the hardships that his dad and him as a family, they were going through. Also, it was very amusing to see, what a sports person's nature, attitude shapes out to be. So small little things along the way, I kept learning new things. You learn so much about life through cricket. And those things really inspired me. And I used to keep journaling. I never thought I would make it into a book or so. But around 2021, during COVID times, Cheteshwar, in fact, came up with the idea, why don't you have so many notes, you have such good memory, why don't you do something with it? Initially, it just started as you're trying to look for a hobby. And so, why don't you write a book? But in 2022, I actually took it a little seriously, and I just gathered all the notes I had and compiled it into something. And I shared it with a few friends and then the publishers, and they were immediately on board. And they said something like, this has never been done before. And it was a whole different perspective to what the game already, what is perceived in the audience. Many people can relate to it. You don't need to be a sports person to relate to my book. So that was the whole idea. And yeah, luckily things, materialized and the book is out now.
Yeah, and it is a unique read. And I gather, Puja, from the book, and you explain this, take us back to when you met and were introduced, because you weren't really into cricket, were you? And you didn't really know, who Cheteshwar was, but Cheteshwar, I gather that was also actually quite important to you.
Yeah. So I didn't know who he was. We were from the same town. I was 24 years old, very focused on my career, had just finished college, like a master's degree. I was just very focused on my work. I was not looking for marriage, didn't know anything about the game. And then just to get my parents off my back, I was like, fine, I'll just meet this person. And it all started from there. And he, in fact, was very happy that I'm not aware about cricket. And for him, it was a very nice thing, because he said, I want to get to know the person, apart from what my profession is.
I was really happy that she didn't know anything about cricket. And I wanted to marry a person, not because of my profession, but the person who I am. We started knowing each other from the word go, because it wasn't because of cricket, it was because we liked each other as a person.
Puja, where were you living if you didn't know an Indian cricketer? But wait, congratulations on the book. And in your author's note, you do write that he doesn't know how to relax, but he's always at peace.
Firstly, a lot of people in India don't know about cricket. It is a possibility. Uh, anyway, coming to that, he does not know how to relax. Since I met him, like where he was 24 years old when we met, and he had not taken a single break. He didn't know, what was like unwinding was back then, and even now, it's very difficult for him to unwind, and it just feels like he's cheating on cricket if he's unwinding. But he that is the person, but he is always calm in the sense that he does not have any regrets about who he is and what his priorities are. And so for me, a lot of the things that Chireshwar imbibes as a person were very intriguing in the sense that just to be so devoted to a sport or a profession, you have to let go of so many other things, and they do it with all their heart, and there's no two ways about it. Like there's no regrets, and as a family, that's what they do.
Well, as you would have read, there's still a call for the return of Cheteshwar Pujara to the Indian team in England. But I will move on to the two of you again as a couple, especially in the early years. One tends to learn a lot from each other. And what are one or two of the lessons that Cheteshwar you've learned from Puja and vice versa?
For me, the way she manages everything, because if I had to multitask, if I had to manage so many things, I couldn't have done that. And I'm successful. That is because of her, because from the time we got married, she has handled everything at home. My father's health, I mean, he hasn't been keeping well since last few years. So she's managing that. My daughter, she was born in 2018, Aditi. So to look after her while I'm traveling, normally you try and share the duties, but I'm away from home for most of the times, and that's why she's able to manage that. She also manages my commercial aspects of the game, so she looks after a lot of endorsement deals and other stuff. So she runs office back home. So multitasking is something which she's very good at, and that is something I always I always want to learn, but I'm not able to do that. I'm only good at cricket. Apart from that, I'm not good at that.
When we got married, or when we got to know each other, I didn't know anything what about, like I used to wake up late. I didn't have any discipline in the sense of like rising early. I didn't understand fitness, nothing. I was like, yeah, and you're young, you don't need that kind of fitness. But like during our marriage, I learned a lot about fitness, discipline, and just commitment towards the goal.
Is there that proverbial clash between personal and professional? And for you, Pooja, was it really difficult to understand that, it had to be work first for Cheteshwar? Or how was this mix of personal and professional between the two of you?
So the good thing is we were very honest about it from the word go. So he was very open about it that when I like this is a very demanding career, and when you are playing at the highest level, you are playing for your country. My priorities are set. So it was never like I wasn't under certain. There was a certain facade or anything. He was very clear about his goals and priorities, and he said that time will come, but a sports person's career just ends at about 36, 38, 40, if you're lucky enough to get to 40. So because the message and the communication has been really good between the two of us, it was never an issue. In the sense, we realized that it was a joint goal, and we were all in it. And it's not just the two of us, but even Chideshwar's dad, extended families, just everyone. So I think that really helps. The communication is the key here, and that kind of set the tone for the marriage.
Thank you for being on the show. It's been very illuminating. And it's Jim Maxwell here in Sydney. Cheteshwar, you come across as a very private person. Did you have any hesitation when Puja told you she'd been keeping diaries and wanted to write this book?
Well, honestly, before she started writing, I mean, when I gave her the idea that why don't you write a book, and that's when this first conversation started. She told me that if I'm going to write, I'm going to write everything. So you can't have any complaints that this is something which needs to be taken off from the book. So she wanted the freedom, and I gave her the freedom. I told her that I won't interfere in your writing at all. So my first glimpse of the book was when she had almost, I think it was 80% complete, when that's when I first read the book. And I never actually interfered with the book. I never told her that these are the part which I don't want to go, because from the word go, I told her that you have the freedom, you can write whatever you want, whether it's my positive part or the negative part, because you need to put out the story as how it is, rather than just describing me as a nice human being, because there are negatives in each and every cricketer, and unless you show that to the world, then people can't know that what has actually happened in the journey.
Is there anything not in the book that you could tell us about?
Lots of things. There are lots of things that are not in the book. But the essence, the idea was to capture the essence of our, time together and his early years from a different perspective. And the essence was not to, kind of have any sensationalize any topics or so. It was just to show true glimpse of the character. And even if anyone who's read the book would know that it also shows like a growth curve for both of us, from where we started to where we are, and how you were learning each day or unlearning few things. So that was the key message. And yeah, I think whatever was not mentioned, we'd just like to keep it not mentioned.
So, Pooja, the question is, of course, what do you think of the game of cricket now?
I love Test cricket. I was on the edge of the seat just last week at Lord's. I was constantly, I had just come into London that day, and I was at the edge of the seat, and I was like, oh my goodness, what way is it going to go? And not just matches of India, I try and follow overall. Like I just saw the Australia West Indies, so try and follow, even if I'm not following it on the TV or not able to watch it, I'm still, there's an app opened and I'm just checking scores.
Yeah, your colleagues seem to have given it rave reviews. Rahul Dravid, VVS Laxman, and Anil Kumble. Does that mean a lot?
I had the honor and privilege to have played cricket with all of them. Maybe not at the international level, because I've played with Rahul Dravid and VVS Lakshman for the Test team. Unfortunately, Anil Kumble was retired when I made my debut, but he has been a great guide to me, because he was India's Indian team's coach in 2016, and he has been a mentor and guide to me throughout my journey. So I've learned a lot about the game from all three of them. And when I told them that my wife is writing a book, and they were very kind enough to first go through it and then write a quote for the book. So I'm really happy that they have written some good stuff about me.
Puja, one of the themes in the book is, and you write that, your husband is an introvert, a man of few words. And yet here we are, I've been commentating with Cheteshwar on the Test match, and he's here doing interviews.
That would be all me.
I mean, how have you seen him evolve into this particular space?
See, I always knew he understands the game really well. He analyzes the game really well. On most occasions, he'd just like to keep it to himself. And of course, being a team sport, you kind of chip in when it's necessary into the leadership roles or so. But he just has a very interesting take, because sometimes when he's not playing some match, maybe we're watching T20 game or maybe a one-day game, and he's not playing a match, he would exactly tell me, what one's plan is or what one should do in order to get a wicket. And we're just discussing as spectators. And I always kept telling him that, you should all try and make good use of the knowledge that you have. And he was very against it. No, I cannot be doing it, and I don't like it. I want to start a business. And I was like, you're not a businessman. You're not going to be good at it. And it started from there. And so I told, why don't you give it a try? If it does not work for you, fair enough. It does not work for you. And then he started enjoying it. So the thing is, sometimes till you don't try, you never know which side it's going to go.
And I'll have to chip in for this answer, because when she first gave me this idea that why don't you do some media work, I was completely against it. I told her that we are not having a conversation. We had a lot of arguments about it, but eventually she kept convincing me, and it took about 2 to 3 weeks time for me to get convinced, and I gave it
years.
Almost 2 years.
Yes.
Actually,
well, it seems to be paying off, and we're enjoying having you, that's for sure. Cheteshwar, we can't let you go without commenting on the state of the current Test series, because goodness, what a high-octane match that was at Lord's, and then heading to Manchester for the next Test match. And you know that Indian dressing room well. How will the manner of that defeat have gone down with the India camp? How do you feel they'll respond?
Well, I'm sure they will come back strongly, but at the same time, it was very disappointing from the players because I mean the way they fought. I'm sure they are disappointed that they couldn't finish the line. But at the same time, I feel that they should be proud of themselves because the kind of test match we have seen, the way they competed, the way they fought in the game. There was a time where they had almost lost the test match, and from there to get so close and not finish the line might have been disappointing. But at the same time, it was a proud feeling the way they fought in the entire test match. So I'm guessing that the series is still alive. There's a lot to play for, and they have played very good cricket in first three test matches. It doesn't matter where the series is at the moment, even if it's 2-1. I still feel that there were lot of positives for the Indian team throughout the series. Even in the first Test match, which they lost, they played very good cricket for first 4 days, and on the final day, England played better than the Indian team. So it wasn't that India didn't play good cricket, but I think the England team was a lot better in the first Test match, and even in the last Test match. If we see the way both the teams are competing, I think both the teams are trying to outplay the other team, and that's why we are seeing fascinating cricket on the field, because it's not because of someone's mistakes they are losing the game, but the opponent is playing better cricket than the other team. So yes, I feel that the Indian team will be very well prepared for the next game. They have a good time to prepare before the next game. But as a cricket fan, as a Test cricket fan, this is the perfect series.
An introvert no more. Cheteshwar. Thank you so much for being with us on Stump, both Cheteshwar and Puja. It's a fascinating read.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alison.
So that's all we've got time for on this week's Stumps for Akashvani. Don't forget to follow us on X. We're at BBCWS Sports and use the hashtag BBC Stumps. And check us out on YouTube as well by going to the BBC World Service YouTube channel. My thanks to Charu Sharma, Jim Maxwell, and to you all for listening. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Stumped is a BBC Sport production for the BBC World Service in association with ABC and Akashvani.